Welcome to the Plant-Free MD podcast with Dr. Anthony Chafee, where we discuss diet and nutrition and how this affects health and chronic disease, and show you how you can use this to optimize your health and happiness, both mentally and physically. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. This is another episode of Plant-Free MD. Today, I have a very special guest, Maggie, who's from Whitehaven Farms up in Alberta, Canada. And she has been a longtime carnivore, nearly lifelong carnivore, and raised several kids as carnivores, and has been working as a rancher for decades now. Thank you very much, Maggie, for joining us.
You're very welcome, Anthony. I'm very pleased to be able to talk to you in this amazing venue here.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it's, we've been conversing over, previously before we hit record, and then over emails. And so I've just been very fascinated with your story and how you came to be the person that you are and your experiences. And I would just love to pick your brain about that. Can you tell us just a bit about yourself and your background and what you do, and how you first came about just eating meat?
Well, born in Montreal, 1941. So I'm getting up there. I don't even think about that. But our family moved west in the 50s. And ended up in a private school and graduated from there and went to UBC to take veterinary medicine because I thought that's what I wanted to do. And I decided at UBC, because it was in the 50s and there were no women vets at that time. And I don't think anybody suffered from that. I don't think women suffered from that. But in any case, I decided I didn't want to look after other people's animals. I wanted my own. And I'd come from a dairy farm after my dad got home from the war with the VLA Act. He got a dairy farm, and I just fell in love with cows, basically fell in love with cows and dogs and horses at the same time. We farmed with horses in the 40s. And so I grew up riding on the backs of the workhorses as plowing or spreading manure or whatever. And that was the life I really wanted. So what the hell was I doing in UBC? Like spending money I was working at the racetrack and at Hastings Park in Vancouver and then Exhibition Park until they found out I was a girl. I was actually a guy. I'm tall and skinny. I'm 5'10" and strong as a horse. And I looked about like a 14-year-old boy, I guess. And I was 16, 17. And I had a license to work, to hot walk and guinea. I worked for Eddie Yates and the Diamond State. And then the commissioner of racing brought me in, and I said, he said, "Give me your ticket." And I said, "Yeah." And I put Max Hillary, which was my dad's name, my name was Maxine. I'm Maggie, but my name was Maxine. And I said, "Max Hillary." And he said, "You're a girl." And cowboy hat on, because I'd spent a summer actually working for Douglas Lake Cattle Company, which was owned at the time by Colonel Spencer before Chunky Woodward bought it. And I was actually working at Greenacres Cattle Company, which was owned by Colonel Spencer and his daughter, Barbara. And so, I actually met a cowboy there. And then, so I dropped out I was a total dropout after 2 years at UBC. I couldn't handle the crap in university. I'm sorry, but there was so much BS going on. Even then, it's way worse now. Mm-hmm. But however, they produced people like you, which is amazing. Not that they made you who you are, but you know what I mean. You can cut this out, Anthony.
It's fine.
But, however, so I married one of the cowboys from there, and we went way back in the bush. So all of a sudden now I'm eating what I always wanted to eat as a kid. I didn't like vegetables. I didn't even like fruit. And in the 50s, we didn't have the variety, and we didn't have the kind of sweet apples and this sort of thing that have almost been modified to taste a lot better. I mean, we had crab apples on the farm, and that we never had any fruits that weren't in season. And we're talking Canada. Mm-hmm. There isn't a lot of growing season, and there isn't a lot of fruits and vegetables that we grow here. I mean, we don't do anything really well excepting, spuds and turnips and onions and stuff like that. And you know what? I didn't like them. And if you eat things, try eating them just plain. Just, grab a potato and take a chunk out of it. See what it tastes like. I guess a carrot fresh from the garden is okay. But without the butter and the gravy and the sour cream and all those things everybody puts on, which I don't like anyway, excepting I love butter. I used to take potatoes and then Mom would put lots of butter on it. I would eat the butter and leave the potato, So this was a problem at home because I was skinny. And so our general physician said, oh, sure. Well, Maggie will have a better appetite at supper time if you give her half of Guinness stout before supper. Well, I learned to like Guinness stout, so my mom put an end to that because I didn't like vegetables and fruit. So I end up getting married as a teenager. We go way back in the bush. I'm not going to garden. I don't have fruit. It's like we eat what we shoot, what we grouse, all like blue grouse, rough grouse, duck in the fall, deer, moose, two kinds of deer. There was whitetails and muleys up there, moose, fish from the creek. There were times when, I know what hunger is. My mom her hair would have been curled if she'd known, because the family I came from wasn't broke. I chose this life because this is the life I wanted to lead. I liked the adventure. I liked the hills. I liked the nature, and I tend to be a very solitary kind of person, which may show up a little bit in my rough way of saying things. So, pardon me. I'm about that. But however, I'm watching what I say. That all came about, and of course, I ended up getting pregnant. I was by myself when my first baby, and he didn't make it, and I don't know really why. I honestly can't tell you, but I was 19 going on 12, at that, because I'd never really had never given myself a chance to really grow up. Still having trouble with that in my 80s. But however, I eventually I had ended up having 3 babies back in the bush, and I nursed them all because that was easy. We had no phone, we had no power, we had no running water. There was and winters are tough, even back in the hills, north of Kamloops, So they went from me to eating venison. My oldest daughter had never tasted beef until she was 10 years old. And I told them, I said, now this is beef. This is what we raise. And you might not first bite. They were used to venison, all kinds of venison, including moose and salmon, sockeye, salmon coming up creek, all the way up from the Fraser River to the Thompson River to the Bonaparte River to Dead Man's Creek to Chris Creek, where our ranch was. And they would come up there. They would be pretty beat up, and we'd shoot them and pick them up in the creek. And if you couldn't put your fingers through them, we ate them. There was times when life was tough, and the cows, if it was a drought year, they would come down not in too great shape. And the deer, we took 9 deer off the mountain one year just to keep ourselves fed. We didn't have any refrigeration. So, they were put way up into the top of a big ponderosa pine out of the blowflies in the summertime, and you just peel off what you need. And I had a lot of help from a little lady at we were the first white ranch past the Indian Reserve, and And she helped me a lot with making dried meat and a little wiki up and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I had dried venison that was cooked and smoked and dried. And my kids teethed on that. Like, this is what they ate. And I didn't have to garden. I didn't, the indigenous, they call them indigenous now, but, and somebody asked old Alice, who was just a darling, she was like, and she would take me up and we'd go pick hushamberries. And that, if you'd ever had hushamberries, they're high bush cranberries, and they smell like dirty socks. But when you cook them up and you get the juice from them, vitamin C. And so her kids, if they got a cold, they had to take it at work, and she'd give it to me too, and I'd give it to my kids, and they hated it, but that's what they would get, and they very seldom got sick. But the best thing to give a baby is I don't know, like we make jerky ourselves, and it's great. And I'd give it to a baby to chaw on. I wouldn't put the, but they would pound berries into it, and my kids teethed on that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'd give them the ends of a bone, and they'd gnaw on that. Best thing ever for a baby that's trying to get their teeth to break through the gums, So my kids didn't really have any problems like that. And then I would cut the meat up really fine, and they would into their mouths whatever they wanted. And I never had anything in my whole life since I left home, the age of 17. I've never bought a pound of sugar, ever in my life, ever, ever, ever. It's not in the house. You look in our fridge, there's no vegetables around here. There's all kinds. This morning we had steak. We had a calf. We don't eat a lot of good, beautiful young beef that I absolutely love because it's worth too much to us. And this is the point of me getting in touch with you. You're the only one that ever picked up, Anthony, bless your heart, is that we want people to eat meat and get healthy and get rid of their diseases and be strong. And we want the children to have the brain power and all that. You need meat. Okay. So you get everybody, you and the rest of you guys that are willing to put yourself out there, you get everybody eating meat. Where is it going to come from? I've mentored young cowboys, young ranchers. There's 5 of them that I can tell you right now, and every single one of them have said to me, I don't know how long I can do this, Maggie. I can't afford it. I'm not making enough money. One of the kids that I sell bulls to, I'm mentoring him, and he finally got married. I was so happy. Oh, the first year off, she gives him twins. And she was his right-hand man on the farm. He would go to work. She's calving out the cows. And now she's got 2 tiny babies. And now she's got another kid. And then damned if another kid I was helping with. That is, where the hell the twins come from? Well, you eat meat, you're going to have more babies. That's just the way it is, I guess. But the thing is that how are we going to, if there's no cow-calf man, there's no backgrounder, there's no feeder, there's no finisher, there's no truckers driving truck to get those cattle to market, there's no abattoirs, there's Beyond Meat and meat substitutes, and all I hear is these people are saying, well, I know meat's good for me and I feel so much better, but I feel like a murderer. Like, really? These critters wouldn't even exist. We love our cows. I can tell you, the 2 oldest cows, and I've been in this business for 60 years, okay? Over 60 years now. 23 years old. Yeah, they were named. I had all these kids, so they would name the cows. You on 150 head of cows, they're going to name every damn one of them. Chatty Cathy and Brownie both lived to be 23. The average age of a beef cow, like your dog and your cat, is 10 or 12 years old. Okay, that's the average life of a beef cow. They have to be kept fed. Absolutely a pristine diet, not the crap that most people in the city feed their dog and cat. because those dogs and cats could live to be 15, 16, 18, 19, like ours do, because they're fed meat. They're not fed this food. They're carnivores. But cows are not carnivores. So we're saying, oh, it's bad to feed them grain. Oh, excuse me? If there's grain out there, the deer and the moose are eating it, whether it's wild oats put on here by the creator, or it's our tame oats, or what kind of grain we're eating, those wild animals will be in there. They're not going to go foraging onto all kinds of fescues and stuff in the fall when they've got grain to eat, and they do amazing things with that grain, because hunting on the prairies, you're getting grain-fed moose and grain. Moose are browsers, but you give them a grain field, they'll eat the grain and they'll put on white fat, and it's absolutely amazing. Sure, they'll go back and eat in the swamps, but this is that's what their rumen is for. And if you look at the physiology, I did get out of university. If you look at the physiology of the cow, this is a miracle. This huge rumen, or a moose, or a deer, or apparently a camel. And I've never eaten camel or giraffe or anything, but they're ruminants. They chew their cuds. This amazing vat that all the grasses and the grains and all that stuff goes into, and the bugs in there eat it. They have a biological tank going on in there. And the bugs, now, this is a lot of things that people don't understand, is that animal raises the bugs in the rumen. Now, if you don't have the bugs in the rumen, for some reason or other, too many antibiotics because the cow got sick or whatever, or something happened and she lost her cud, as they say, then the only way to get that cow back into shape, because it can't digest the food without the bugs, is to put the bugs back in the rumen. Now at UBC, we had actually windows sewn into the side of these rumens on these cows. They were fine. They were cows. And we'd open them up and we'd pull it was rank, pull that stuff out and put it into another cow, or tube it in, like put a tube in. You have to make sure you get it past the epiglottis and down into the rumen, because that's the only stomach. You put that stuff back in and away they go again. So it's the bugs in there. And it's actually the bugs, whether they're grain bugs or hay bugs or silage bugs or whatever kind of bioform that's in there, when billions and trillions and quadrillions of these, that is what, through the reticulum that makes the cud, the omasum, all of that, and gut. It's the bugs, when they die, that the cow gets her nutrition from. The point is that 80% of what you put into a cow or a moose or a deer comes out the back end. And that is the only way we can keep our fields with full tilth, full nutrition, full biological matter. It is gold. That manure is gold. If you can graze your cattle out there, it's a beautiful cycle. If they're in a feedlot, by the way, when a feedlot animal goes in, he's about 18 months of age, 18 months to 2 years of age. He spent his whole life eating grass and hay and silage, just like every other cow, just like every other moose, deer, whatever. This is all the green stuff that we grow. The last 120 days, he goes in and his grain ration is increased, just like it would be for the deer if they get into your barley crop. And they can be, elk are brutal. They can just wipe out barley crop like a hailstorm. But those animals go into the feedlot. They get up to a 70-75% grain ration in the last 60 days, 60, 70, 80 days. They're gaining 4.5 pounds a day. And they're putting marbling in their flesh. The frame is already there. That's what you do when you background the calf after it's weaned. It goes onto grass and then it gets backgrounded with silage, and they're gaining frame. It's not a fattening ration or a finishing ration, but they go into this 120 days of their life, and they're living the life of any better than any pet that's locked up in an apartment in the middle of town. Because if they're not happy and contented and cared for, they don't. And the margins are so slim in this business. If they don't thrive, the farmer, the rancher, the feedlot operator goes belly up, and he will last maybe 1 year. That's it. You can't put it away in the garage, go and do something else, and then come back and start farming again. That animal has to be fed. If it has no value at the market and you have to buy feed, and nobody else can afford to feed it because maybe they've had a drought too, you think? Okay. And now feed, instead of being $100 a big round bale, is now $350 a big round bale. And that's gone in one day. You know, I mean, during the drought year before last, our extra feed bill was $5,000. We've got a very small herd of 100 head. Okay. $45,000 just to get them there. We couldn't sell them because nobody had feed to buy them. So this is the only industry that you can't go on strike, can't put on hold. But these animals, when they say, well, they're factory farmed. Oh yeah? Factory farmer, and see how well you do with a cow, you know, that weighs 1,400 pounds and she births a calf. How much of a factory farm do you think? This is a hands-on industry. This, if I sound passionate and intense, Anthony, it's because all of our people who are suffering now, 70% of North Americans, weight, unhappy, they don't even like the look of themselves, let alone do they feel good or have the energy. And you're going to get them on meat, bless your heart, you and Sean Baker and Ken Berry, you're going to get them on meat. They're going to feel better. Where's the meat going to come from? Because I can't convince these guys stay in the business because they can't feed their family and keep their calves alive, you know, in a ice storm. Like, so, and my husband, who is MBA and looks at the cold, hard facts and figures, he said, Maggie, the only we are going to ever be able to keep the beef available, waiting for the world to catch up when you guys get through telling people what they need, they're going to turn around and say, well, thanks a lot. Where's the beef? It's not there. That's not beef. All about this. You've told us all about this, but where's the beef? Well, I'm sorry, there's no beef because the primary producer, the cow-calf man that has to be there every time that cow goes into labor or needs to call a vet to save that cow's life, they're done. They're done. They're not going to stay in the business. I've got 10 of my own kids. Not one of them is farming. My youngest daughter has half a dozen cows in our herd, and she comes out, she's a school teacher, she comes out once a week and helps feed, and we just love her. Dad takes her into the shop and she builds stuff, and you know, and it's great, but she's not farming because she can't feed her. She's got 3 kids. These are my grandkids. Mm-hmm. There's no money in it. There will be people that are willing to make this a lifetime project because they love cows. They love the horses they need to work with them. They love their cow dogs. They love being out there in a tractor, putting up hay for our 6 months of brutal we have in Canada. They're willing to do that. They're willing to be up there, just like Mac and I are before we came down here to, you know, I did run a comb through my hair. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of pride. I don't care about that crap. But the point is that I was just so excited this morning when I realized that we were going to do this. Because now I just want to dump this problem that we have about how are you going to take this on, because you're going to, because I can't do it. You know how to do this, Anthony. You know how to explain to people that not only is carnivore we are carnivores, okay? So you want to put the other crap in your body, that's fine. You're going to have aches and pains, but you're not going to have it's not a great thing for a woman who wants to walk around in a bikini, Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? So I don't care about that, but people want to be healthy. They want to be strong. They want to feel good when they get up in the morning. They want their brain to work. They want to remember things. And at 80, I feel like right now, Mac and I are approaching middle age. But okay, that's fine. He's 67. I'm 82 on February the 1st. We've just bought a little farm in Colombia. We went down there because we're building a sailboat in our shop because Mac wants a sail. He's a sailor. I took my license and went down 5 days. First holiday ever, 5 days down at the coast, went sailing on a boat to learn how to sail because I said, I'm not going sailing around the world with you ever until I know how to sail,
Yeah.
So that's what we did this summer, August 1st to the 5th. My daughter came and looked after the whole place, bless her heart. And then we decided that where are we going to put this boat? He'll be finished, 32-foot catch. Okay. And he worked all over the world in his life. And we got a motor from a fellow in Bangladesh that took apart a lifeboat, sent it to us. It's a diesel. It's a diesel. $2,700 delivered into our shop. Wow. Went into this boat is going to be sailing in 2 years, and we're going to sail it down to Colombia. So I said, well, I don't want to live on the beach in some touristy place. Can we look for maybe a little cabin inland? Colombia because it was cheaper. You can't afford to go to Panama or Mexico anymore. The tourists have put that out of sight. We found this little 13-acre farm there. So came back, talked to the banker, borrowed the money. We got to make this pay. This is a family farm down in Colombia. We fell in love with the family. And they said, well, can you please take it over? Their dad had just dropped dead 3 years ago. And he was only 60 years old. And he had all these projects going. And the boys had one lives in Bogota, another lives in Manizales. And we had to learn Spanish for gosh sake. So we've been doing that over the last year. And we're not, because nobody speaks English down there. So down there, and this family, they lowered the price for us. And the Colombia peso dropped to the Canadian dollar. So I went to the banker here and he says, you guys are crazy. And I said, well, maybe, but can we do this? Put another mortgage on the farm. We'll manage it somehow. What we're doing. So now we've got 1,000 coffee plants going in there. I don't drink coffee. Now I do. Okay. Might as well try. He says coffee's okay. I don't know about that. You see, I don't really care about all the intricacies of the diet and that. I know what works for me. And if I anything that doesn't agree with me, my body tells me. Okay. So that's like, an 18-year-old going out and having his first drink, or maybe his first, what do you call that? A toke or something. I don't know. It doesn't work very well. Well, this is what vegetables do to me. 1 apple, okay, a cracker with figgy stuff. What did we have the other day? Fig jam. And okay, the next day, yeah, I still have to go to work. I still have to fill grain buckets. I still have to check cows. I still have to. We had a little RSV thing going through there. You know what a rhinosyncytial virus is? Well, we have it. Bovine has the same thing. It's not zoonotic. You don't worry about it. But it goes through kids the same way as it goes through calves. And we didn't give shots because we took off to go to Colombia, see the farm, and fell in love with it and signed the papers. And when we got back, the weather had just taken a dive. So the calves didn't get their vaccinations. And we had half a dozen go through with this syncytial virus, which of course you can't heal with an antibiotic, but whatever. You have to be there. And doesn't matter if you ate fig jam and it reacted on you. This is what I'm saying. There is no paid sick pay. There's no days off. There's no holidays. There's no, what do you think? You can take a long weekend off? Christmas, we spent it up in the feedlot. We were supposed to go for supper to my daughter's place. That didn't happen. We had a freeze. Okay. So there was no Christmas this year. There wasn't. But you know what? Our animals are good and we still laugh. We still have fun. We still love what we do. But now we got to pay for this farm down in Colombia. And we'll do it because we know we can. But the biggest joy for me this morning was when I really realized that I can dump all this shit onto you now. Fix this. Anthony, you'll have to probably cut this out. You have the podcast. You have the know-how, you look like a friggin' Greek god. So you're going to catch all the young girls that aren't happy with what they look like. And they're going to say, okay, here's this guy out there that looks like this and he's eating meat. And so do you see where I'm going with this? Yeah. So now I can forget about this and concentrate on helping Matt and Bill finish this boat, still do our 100 head of cows and our background feedlot and all the other things, because we put up our own feed. We still have to seed. We still have to harvest. We had a hailstorm go through, wiped out half of our barley, this year. But, we have to mill barley, and it doesn't matter if it's minus 38 with a 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing. You still have to set up the mill. You still have to get the tractor going. You still have to, and by the way, we hand fill our bucket with grain, with chop out of the grain wagon. They weigh about 28 pounds a piece. And then we load them into the back of the gator and go into each pen and distribute it in feed troughs. And if you've ever seen cows when they get a taste for barley, boy, but when the weather gets like that, they need that extra. They need that extra. They need the carbs. Their rumen need the carbs. And to keep your animals strong and healthy, it's amazing what 7-8 pounds of grain rolled barley will do for those cows. A lot of people have lost a lot of stock in this last 6 weeks of hellish weather. So this is what I want to do. And my husband is just so wanting my brain to get back to where we have all these projects going. Now, on the farm in Colombia, we raise bananas, plantain, mangoes, what else? Avocados, oranges, lemons. I've never seen an orange on it before. They're Valencia and if people are willing to eat them, that's fine. But coffee, I'm drinking coffee now, learning to like it. I actually quite like it. It doesn't seem to be bothering me. But I've got a cast iron gut. So, I've eaten a lot of sometimes trips, a lot of iffy meat. I'll just put it that way. Mm-hmm. But, when you're healthy, you don't get gut problems. You don't, your gut is hard and it's just there to, I don't live to eat. I eat to live.
Yeah.
And like sitting down at a table, this is a big table. This is an 8-foot table here. And when my kids are home, there's like 50 people here. Like when they're all come with their kids, and their kids are having kids now. I got great grandkids that are in school. So, and I know I sound like I got diarrhea of the mouth, but is that you and Sean Baker, and he actually gave a podcast this morning that just tickled my fancy because he was talking about the life cycle of a cow. You have a lot of people you've convinced that carnivore is the way, but they have that one problem with the ethical part of eating meat. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you now that we waste nothing here. Nothing. We have stock ponies that are like, we had a 35 and a 33-year-old. We still got the 33-year-old mare. We put her sister down, the age of 35. That mare, you could load a moose on her. Go hunting, bring a moose back on her. We put her down. Did we throw her body to the coyotes? No. There are some animals that we can't eat. If we have a loss, the coyotes get it. We've got a great coyote bitch and a coyote dog that live here. They have never once touched our calves. We had to get rid of some that took 1 year, took 7 of our baby calves. These guys are great. They live here. They get extra feed. They keep the mice in down, the gopher population down. But dogs, there was no way I would let any kind of meat go to waste. Mm-hmm. So old Cheeky ended up in the freezer, the dog food freezer, and bless her heart, no chewing on her bones.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of thing that maybe your people need to know what real life is. Mm-hmm. And the importance of honoring and respecting these animals, like every other rancher that I know. Anthony, if you don't love cows and you don't love business, it will kill you one way or another. And you know what? Your bones will be coyote chow. Mm-hmm. And there will be a nickel to bury you, because it will break you, and it will break your spirit if you don't love it and you don't respect these animals. And I don't know of who doesn't love his cows and he doesn't just thrill to see those baby calves out there. And for as long as they are meant to be on this earth, whether it's 2 years of age or 23 years of age, they are cared for, fed, looked after, cherished. Or who would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go out and check when it's just bitter cold to make sure those animals are okay and that the cycle of life continues, and skip Christmas entirely. Christmas Day, Boxing Day, it was just solid work for us, but it's a labor of love. And we do fairly well, actually, because we don't buy anything we don't need. Like, we keep our bills. We don't go to restaurants. We don't go out. We don't travel. Mm-hmm. Our first travel ever was to Colombia, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, that's the first time I've ever been off the continent, and I'm 80 something, So, and now we have another job down there. Mm-hmm. So with that, I'm passing this burden of how the heck are we going to keep in this business, and how do I keep all these kids I'm mentoring in this business going without any hope of them ever making a living at it.
Hey guys, just want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Carnivore Bar. I don't promote many products because honestly, all you need to be healthy is to just eat meat. For those times that you're out hiking, road tripping, or stuck at work and you want a nutritious snack that is just meat, fat, and salt if you want it, the Carnivore Bar is a great option. So I like this product not because it's just pure meat, but also because I want the carnivore market to thrive as well. And the more we support meat-only products, the more meat-only products there will be available in the mainstream. So if this sounds like something you'd like to get behind, check it out using my discount code Anthony to get 10% off, which also applies to subscriptions, giving you 25% off total. All right. Thanks, guys. So what are some of the barriers to that? I mean, has it always been like that? Has it always been very tough margins? Like prices of meat have gone up significantly, but it doesn't sound like that's actually getting to, the level of the ranchers. It sounds like other people in the middle are the ones profiting off of that. So what are some of the barriers to you guys being profitable or new ranchers coming in and being able to earn enough of a living to make it worthwhile?
Well, the barriers to us right now is that the land is so expensive. I mean, right now, the quarter section that the home place is on, I had two others, still have another quarter, and that it's worth on the average, well, this place, because it's got a house on it, somewhere around $3 million. It's only worth what I can raise on it for me. The other quarter that's bare, even though it's got 2 wells on it, and it's got power to it, it's worth $1 million, $2 million and a half. You're not going to pay that back in cows. So you're going to put it into grain. And the problem is that fewer and fewer people are eating beef. The big stores and that everybody has to make a profit, all supply chain. Okay. When you go into the store and I look at what's in the grocery carts, and then this lady who's maybe 50 pounds overweight and she's got 2 beautiful children, although they don't look all that healthy to me, but they're in a basket and she looks like she's packing the cares of the world and she's maybe all of 25 years old. It breaks my heart. And I look in her basket and I look at the bill that I'm right behind her. And this has happened more than once. I don't care what grocery store you go into, and you'll see what they're paying, $250. And she has no food in there.
Yeah.
There's no food in there. If she'd taken that $250 and bought meat with it, wow, beautiful girl, sitting somewhere around 180, 100, beautiful girl, young, 2 beautiful children, and she's got no food, and she just spent $250, $300. She's got pop in there, she's got chips in there, she's got Kellogg's cornflakes in there. I mean, I've got to name all the crap she's got in there, but there's no food in there.
Yeah.
None. There's maybe a frozen pack of corn.
Yeah.
Or maybe a head of lettuce. Like, you want to eat that rabbit food? Go ahead. But I'll bet people, when she gets home, she's going to put a $2.50 worth of something out of a bottle on there, or she's not going to be able to eat that lettuce.
No.
That makes it worse.
That's what people don't realize as well is that when you actually check it like per pound of lettuce, of spinach, of these vegetables, quite a lot of them are more expensive than beef, especially certain cuts.
Fruit. $1 an apple.
Yeah.
$1 an apple.
Yeah. Or more sometimes. Yeah.
Or more. Like it's absolutely criminal and it's crazy. And they're taking their money, and they're buying margarine instead of butter.
Mm-hmm.
That would gag a maggot, that margarine. So, I eat a lot of butter because I grew up, that was all I wanted to eat. I wanted the meat and I wanted the butter. That was on the table. And so this problem of the rancher, the cow-calf producer, and there's a lot of them, they're quitting.
Yeah.
They're turning their land. They're either renting their land out or they're selling. They're selling out to some American or some rich Saudi or some rich Chinese person or some rich Dutch person that's going to run a dairy. Okay. And that's fine. But the problem is with milk. There's nothing wrong with milk. There's nothing wrong with even pasteurized milk. But as soon as you homogenize, you know the difference between whole milk and that's been homogenized and milk that hasn't been homogenized? The cream, the globules in the butter fat in the milk that will make butter will rise to the top, which is the way milk, when it was delivered at home back in Quebec, it rose to the top. Didn't bring it in, it would freeze, and then the neighborhood cat was licking it off the top because it was pure, So when you homogenize it, to keep those fat globules in suspension, they have to be broken up so small that they almost literally can go through the walls of the intestine. Seriously, that fat, even though it's butter fat, which would be awesome for you, which I will eat butter by the spoonful. And I eat cheeses. I love cheese and butter. We have you just see our supper table when we're eating. I mean, it's just amazing. Like, we have all kinds of stuff on there. No plants, but I never gave my kids homogenized milk. I had a milk cow until my last kid left home. That was it. I made my own butter, and so they had whole milk. But as soon as you homogenize, it's not the pasteurizing. But people talk about raw milk as dangerous. No. You don't have to drink raw. You pasteurize it. We did, because we had our own cow. Okay, and they used to be able to get your milk cow tested for TB, because TB used to be a thing. Mm-hmm. I was born before antibiotics were developed, and they were developed during World War II. Okay, there were no antibiotics for people or babies when I was. So, your cows were tested for tuberculosis and brucellosis. Okay, because those were zoonotic diseases. So, but as soon as you take this milk and you homogenize it, which made it better lifetime, better shelf time, because once the cream comes up, it gets on the top, and ladies didn't like that when they took the cap off the bottle, so they homogenized the milk. You can't buy milk where the cream comes to the top now. So have it pasteurized if you want. It used to be always pasteurized since Louis Pasteur invented that, it was a long time ago. But the cream came to the top on the bottles that were being delivered to the dairy. The cream came to the top, and then they homogenized. You can't buy that anymore unless you go to a dairy. And by the way, it's against the law for your local dairy to sell you that raw. Yeah. Even though which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But the reason is, and you know this full well, is because the corporate world, the big food industry, they don't want you bypassing them. Mm-hmm. So here's the problem with getting beef from the rancher. Yeah. Buy the cow. Take it to an abattoir. Get your neighbor a cow. If you went to a rancher and said, if I bought a cow and paid you to raise it, would you do that for me? And then when it's ready, will you deliver it to a slaughter plant, an abattoir? There's abattoirs all over North America, little abattoirs. They're not allowed by law to kill animals on their place. So they would have to come and do that. This is the way we do it. We have a wonderful butcher. One cow or bull at least every year goes to feed the people in the mustard seed. And I called our local abattoir guy that comes down and does emergency slaughter on the farm. And I said, okay, we have a bull with a broken leg. Our freezer was full. I look after my family first, but then try to make sure that an animal, instead of just taking it to the market, if it's past its time, I get them and he takes it and turns it into hamburger for the mustard seed. And I asked him one time, this is how sad this whole process is. I asked him, how long did that bull you took last at the mustard seed? Because every Sunday he was going and serving meals at the mustard seed. 3 days, Maggie.
What's the mustard seed?
Well, in Canada, starving.
Yeah. So sorry, what's the mustard seed? Is that like
mustard seed is it's a line for life. It's to feed the homeless.
Right. Okay.
But this is what's happening in our country and in yours too. In North America, there's people dependent on, and what are they getting at the food bank?
Yeah,
they're not getting garbage.
Yeah.
They're getting rapid food.
Yeah.
So you see, I mean, we've got one small chance to get this straight, and I'm trying to give you all the information I possibly can from all these different angles.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to take this on, Anthony, please.
Well, I'm trying to. Yeah.
I know. And here you are still the brain surgeon. Like even Sean does that now. He's not, I don't think he's doing surgery anymore. I don't think Ken Berry still is. But, if you want something to get done, ask a really busy person. So
unfortunately, yeah.
And you're the only one that got back to me anyway, but Sean is, I think he's got to, so talk to him, whatever it is. We have to solve the problem of the way people about eating beef. I know I need to eat meat. I know I need and lamb and pork or whatever, or chicken, but I feel like I'm doing the ethically wrong thing. I think it's wrong, and it's not. Because if we don't have this animal input on our lands, our crops will stop. We'll have to put more fertilizer on it, more chemicals, more of the things that are like glyphosate is not the sort of thing you want on your grain. People say, eat grain, eat seed oils, and yet they don't want to eat the beef that's raised on grain. Like, did you give your head a shake? Seriously, I don't get the connection. If grain's so bad, why are you eating it and serving it to your kids? It's cow feed, it's horse feed, it's sheep feed, it's hog feed, it's chicken feed. Turn any one of those animals loose on the land where they'd rather go. They'll bust your fence down to get into that barley. That's what they're supposed to eat. The deer are hopping over the fences. They don't have to break the fence. The cow can't get into there. So we fence them out because they destroy a barley crop.
Yeah.
So these are the problems, and we keep the young men and women who are willing to be the primary producer. Because if the feedlot doesn't make money, he can't buy the calves. The guy that's raising the calves, if he can't sell them enough to at least buy feed for those cows and then go out and have a part-time job so he can have a family and pay his mortgage. He can't buy land around here. No. I will not sell this land. This has been in the family for almost 100 years now.
Wow.
So not my family, but my husband. I've lost husbands. Don't tell me the cattle industry won't kill you. Mac and I have been married 5 years. This man is amazing. He is absolutely amazing. And he's willing to come on this journey and put up with all my crap and my cows. He used to run a feedlot. There isn't anything he hasn't done. And now he's taken on Colombia. So, I need a break. It doesn't matter whether I've earned it or not. I don't care about that kind of stuff. And I don't even care about money, but I got to pay my bills. And this farm is going nowhere because I have a grandson who's now 6'5" and he's just turned 16. And he's going to go to college first because He won't come here to take over. He's got some cows here. Amazing kid. And he loves cows. So his dad, who's a grain farmer, is saying, how are you going to make any money? You go to college first and learn how to be a mechanic. Because if you're going to have cows, you're going to have to go out to work in order to feed those cows. Because you're not going to do it even if Nanny gives you the farm. So how do you like them apples?
Yeah.
And he's right. You know, I mean, I could be angry with my son-in-law for telling me that. Max says, he's telling him the truth. You can't make a living raising cows or chickens or hogs. Very, very fine line, and certainly not sheep. People who have sheep farmers always have a husband who's got a full-time job. I know Sandy Brock, go on hers. She's got 250. Her husband works full-time. Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. She's got $1 million outfit there that he's also got to pay for because it's beautiful, making it possible for her to run 250 head of ewes by herself with one hired hand. I can't even afford to hire a kid to help me. And there isn't any kid that want to do the job that I do. I tell my daughter, I'm going to Colombia for 2 weeks and you're coming to the farm. She's got 3 kids and a husband at home. And she's a school teacher. And she did, bless her heart. She did. So now, you know, somehow we got to make this work. And on top of that, this thing going around in my head about how do I convince Dr. Anthony Chafee to take on this other mission of explaining to people why it is not only ethically right to eat beef and pork and that, but it's to keep the land fertile. Otherwise, our land is being sterilized by chemicals and the wrong kind of fertilizer and no tilth. You just keep mining and mining and mining. Grade 5 chemistry. Chemicals can either be created or destroyed, elements, okay? So if there's selenium in the soil, okay, and you're putting sulfur in, take up sulfur before they'll take up selenium, even if there is selenium in the soil, okay? Copper, where are you getting your copper from? Do you know that, where are you getting your selenium from? An adult male needs 400 micrograms of selenium every day. If we didn't feed that to our cows, we spend $6,000 a year on minerals because it's no longer in the soil on this family farm that's only been mined for 100 years. Only been mined for 100 years. Pa took the weed off and it went somewhere. Where'd it go? I don't know. China, the States, wherever. But their poop after they ate the wheat didn't come back and go onto the land. Not like animals do. You put it through the animal, it goes back in 80% of what you put into that animal. 80% of that $6,000 a year that goes through our 100 head of cows and our calves goes back onto the land. Do you see? We don't need to put not even nitrogen fertilizer on there. Cows are all nitrogen. You know, chicken manure from these so-called factory farms. Ever walked through one of those factory farms? There's bad farmers everywhere, Anthony. There's bad parents everywhere. But if you treat your animals properly, you'll have the law, the SPCA, the FIA, everything against you. And you could be prevented from having animals for the rest of your life. You're a bad parent. You feed your kids crap and you beat them up. Nobody takes your kids away. They try to help you. Okay? I mean, that drives me crazy. That whole scenario, that where is this balance? And furthermore, these kids wouldn't be badly fed and they probably wouldn't be getting beaten up if their parents felt better. Like, seriously, it comes right down. It's not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing. I mean, if I had time, I would like to go back to university. And then I think, what the hell would you want to do that for? Because it's all crazy now. I mean, I can learn more online. And the last year I've learned Spanish. Like, we're having so much fun with this Duolingo online and talking Spanish in the house. And the kids are just shaking their head, Mom, you're just weird. And I said, well, having weird mom builds character. So just get over it.
Yeah.
So this is the whole thing. I put a lot on your plate, Anthony. And I don't know.
Well, I've seen this. So sorry, go on.
I don't want to just dump it all on you and walk away. If I can help you, if there's anything I can do, I can write. I've written books. Okay. You know what? I've written 3 books and I've never published one because I don't write for that. I write for me and then move on because life is so full of adventure and every day is like a freaking gift, to do stuff with.
Yeah.
And look at you. You're a brain surgeon, you're a neurological surgeon. I don't know what you call it yourself, but you're dealing with the most intricate areas of the nervous system. And now you've taken on this job, and now I'm done a bunch more on your plate, So, yeah, I'm not going to apologize for that. I just want you to be able to do it. And if you can do it, I will do anything in my power to, because if people get your message about carnivore eating and health, they also need to have the pressure put off of them about the ethical side of it and the damage, that so-called damage that the animals are doing to the land. They're not doing the damage. They're an absolute essential part of the, because we killed all the buffalo. That wasn't anybody that is alive's fault. That would just happen 200 years ago. They're gone from North America and cows have replaced them. But we've lost 30% of our cow-calf producers in Canada since 2002. Wow. 1/3 are gone. And the other 2, even in the Cattleman's magazine, on the cover is the cow-calf industry worth it? Are we paying our bills? Okay, if they're not, then neither is the feedlot isn't going to survive. I mean, all of this down the line, and then there's going to be no beef. So, a lot, Dr. Chase, on to meat now. Where's the meat? Yeah. Okay, so I just dumped all this on you, and now what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna. Yeah, it's something that I've noticed as well. You're right. It's I've seen some things in Australia as well. The abattoirs here, you actually cannot bypass them. You cannot bypass the big sort of corporate producers of meat. You are not allowed to buy beef or lamb directly from a farmer in Australia. Nope. You have to do a sort of under the table. You have to know somebody. In America, you can, so I bought a cow directly from the rancher, and you can do that. If you go through a butcher, you can do that as well, and they'll source the cow. But if you go directly to a rancher, it's even better. You have a better choice. You're dealing directly with them. They do better for it, and you do better for it. It's cheaper than going through all these successive middlemen. And I've tried to do that here in Australia. I've not been able to. Sometimes you can, if you know somebody, they can sort of slaughter it there, and then you just sort of take it away and sort of as a cash deal, but it's not actually legal and sanctioned. So and so you have to go through an abattoir here.
And the reason for that is because big business doesn't want that to be possible.
Yeah, exactly.
And I get that, and I understand that.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy. The point is that you don't have to buy from the rancher to get an ethically raised beef. All beef is ethically raised.
Yeah.
It has to be, because if it isn't, the farmer would be broke in 2 years because the cows would be contented, wouldn't be healthy. And if they're not in the feedlot in that last 120 days, If they're not gaining 4 pounds a day, that guy's going broke. And he's $1 million worth of facilities there. You know how my power bill is in the winter, servicing a dozen hot water tanks so that all of my can have fresh water to drink so they don't have to eat snow. $1,500 a month just for the power bill to heat those tanks. Because I don't have a river that I can get them down and chop ice with.
Yeah.
Let my cattle drink out of a river. So this is the thing. You don't have to get it straight from the farmer. There's no better than is sitting right there in your grocery store. And not only that, the beef that has spent the last 20 days eating a perfectly natural 70% grain that you're feeding your kids, by the way, who are carnivores, 70% grain ration for these long yearlings for 20 days, and they marble, and it tenderizes the beef, and it gives the consumer the fat that they need. There's times, Anthony, where I just put solid fat from a cow we butchered because they don't marble their meat. A 15-year-old cow has not got marbled beef, but she's got fat on her because she's well fed. So the fat is deposited in kidneys, just like a guy that could be skinny and still have a great big belly. It's because he's got all that fat in there. Well, it's still in a cow, that's still healthy fat. Mm-hmm. So I will put that in the frying pan and just cook it up and just eat that, because if it's minus 30 with a wind chill blowing, it could be minus 45 with the wind chill. That's the temperatures I have to work in. And I need to do that. 60% minimum of my diet is fat. It's either beef tallow done in a frying pan, bacon, or butter. And then it's beef, because we don't eat that triple A beef. I can't afford to go and buy it in the grocery store. So we eat old cow.
Yeah.
Butchered a bull summer, and I had to explain it to the kids. Now this is a bit of raw life. He was 14 years old. His name was Reserve. He did his job for 12 years. The last year of his life, the last summer, year before last, he had 1 cow to service and 3 heifers. He serviced the cow and he serviced 2 of the heifers. That winter we had, and the kids rode on him. Like my little grandkids would just go and climb on him. He'd come up to the fence and they'd scrub him, they'd jump on his back, and he'd wander around. And my little granddaughter, who was be about 7 or 8 at the time, she'd just sit on him for ages. So it was a good babysitter. And he would come up for pets and all of this sort of thing. Okay, he turned 14, and that last winter, we got a really bad cold snap. It went down to almost minus 50. And an old bull of 14 can't shrink his scrotum up like the young bulls do. They pull it up in cold weather. All kinds of straw. His scrotum froze halfway up. And in the spring, I took my kids out and I said, okay, kids, this is what Reserve is suffering. Is this the bottom half of his scrotum fell off and one of his testes was literally dragging on the ground. And I said, come on, I want to feel life. This just happened. And I told my daughter, I said, bring the kids over, because Reserve, this is not right. This is not right. You can make an animal suffer for yourself if you want, because you love it so much. But there is a point where reality has to be. And even said, okay, Nanny, and that was okay. Every one of us here, my daughter, my husband, and me, and those 3 kids all shed a tear because we knew Reserve had come to the end of his line, and he so much. And I've still got a bull working in the herd with one of his sons. And I've sold bulls out of my breed, also sell bulls. That's part of it to other ranchers, because I know I spent my whole life breeding the perfect cow, and bulls that are for whatever you have. If you got heifers to breed, you need a certain kind of bull. You still need to have production calves, but they've got to be able to birth them. They're 2 years old when they have their first calf, and that calf has to slide out like a torpedo, or you've got problems. So I can breed bulls like that, and I've sold them. And the kids that I've mentored in the business have bought bulls from me, and I've made them deals because I want them to be successful. This is like, it's when you see kids being successful, there's no greater joy. There's no greater joy in life than seeing kids. I don't care if they're my kids or somebody else's kids, but when you see kids, being successful and they're starting young families, nothing brings you greater joy. I don't care where you go. That is the ultimate joy, is to see this. Anyway, reserve ended up being made into, I had 1,700 pounds of hamburger freezer. 1,700 pounds. Not one bit of that is being wasted. My kids are all they all know it's reserve. They all love that bull. They've all got videos and being on, like even my oldest son was what's my oldest son? He's 56 now, my oldest boy. And then my youngest boy, who's 40. No, he's not. I can't remember my ages of my kids. My grandkids come, they have to wear name tags and say who their parents are and how old they are. It's just ridiculous. But, they understand the real life. This is real. This is reality. Mm-hmm. And 98% of our population in North America totally removed from reality. Lost their hearts, their souls, and their spirits. And you wonder why depression, you wonder why 35% of the kids that graduate from our high schools are on prescription drugs. You wonder why there's an epidemic of ADHD and depression in 5-year-olds. If I didn't feed cows properly, if I didn't feed our animals properly, not only wouldn't thrive, but they wouldn't look healthy, and they wouldn't be healthy. I think I sent you a picture of me in the yard the other day in a snowstorm with my arm around a tan cow. I don't know if you got it or if it went through. It's 66. No, I can ride on her.
Yeah.
She's a miserable old bitch, and she's given us how many calves? How old is she? 66W, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There's no I. Okay, J, K, next year is L. All the tags on the calves will have L on the tag. That everybody, like in Canada, has all their calves be something, a number, and L will be 2023. Okay, so how old is she? She's 14 years old, and she'll stay in the herd maybe another 2 years. Maybe usually they're gone by the time they're 10 or 12. In my herd, because I breed for longevity, because that's super important. You don't make a dime on a cow until she's had her third calf. Figure that out. You kept her, so you didn't sell her. So who's going to pay that bill? Okay, you kept her mom for a whole year while she was pregnant and fed her, and now you're keeping the calf, so you're not getting any money for that. You have to wait 2 years before she has a calf. Something has to pay for the bull that you had to buy to breed her and all the feed that she's had before she's given you calf number 1. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she's 2.5 before you can sell her. And that just paid for her. She was, that you didn't sell her. Not all the stuff that's happened before or after. And then she has her second calf. That's all the stuff in between. Now she has her third calf. Okay, she's 5 years old now. She's 5.5 before you've made one dime on that cow. So making sense? Do the math. It's easy. Yeah. Do the math. So this is the whole thing. So you don't think by the time that cow is, 9 or 10 years old, you're not in love with her,
Mm-hmm.
and you've treated her well. So she's calm. So she isn't going to kill you when she has her calf, because cows are more dangerous when they have their first calf. If they aren't gentle and they haven't treated properly, they will protect their calf with their life against you if you haven't treated them properly. Those are just facts. And every cow-calf guy knows that. You don't go in there yelling and screaming at, oh, no, none of this. Yay, yay. No, that doesn't work with cows. I don't care if you got 1,000 mama cows or 10. Some pretty big ranches, 3,000 head of mama cows. All of them. And you love them. They're not all named. Yeah, well, you have enough kids, they'll name them all. That's just the way it's with kids, they'll name everything. They'll name chickens. We have the 3 golden girls in our hen house. They've all got names. So
if have you ever, just as an aside, have you ever, so you have the hamburger, have you ever, had like an older cow and just like had them cut up in steaks and things like that? I did that once with a 10-year-old cow. Best steaks I've ever had in my life. The best tasting meat I've ever had.
Yeah. Because that's what we eat. And I can make a roast. In fact, we did get some of the cuts from reserve made into roast, 14-year-old bull. We didn't eat Chatty Cathy, by the way. She was 23 and everybody was crying when she died. She died with hot water bottles and blankets on her. She died with a 4-month-old heifer calf at her side at the age of 23. And that calf stayed in the herd for 17 years. But nobody in the family will forget Chatty Cathy. So we didn't eat her. Besides, she had just gone downhill over the last 3 days before she died. But however, yes, I've had 14-year-old bull roast, okay? Put it in the oven, cover it with bacon strips, because there won't be much fat on a roast, especially if you're going to do the loins or that. Cover it with bacon, back-to-back bacon all the way across the top. Your oven, I like my beef rare. I eat most of my beef blue rare, and this is old beef. Okay, so we use a lot of bacon and a lot of tallow to put the fat on the top. Put it in at about 100, anywhere from 190, 195 to 200 degrees. Put it in before you go to bed at night. In the oven, just leave it and wake up in the morning. Your kitchen will smell like roast beef. And then at about 12 hours after, at between 175, because 175 internal temperature is rare, but it's rare. It's pink all the way through. Okay. The bacon's on the top. You'll smell bacon and you'll smell roast beef. And there's your breakfast. And it will be tender and it will be so delicious. And you will have brought honor to that 14-year-old animal.
Yeah. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was probably the most flavorful that I'd ever had. And I tried like normal steaks, like just from, like prime steaks from Costco, and I tasted them next to it. I did sort of a taste test. I, took a bite of the prime New York, and it was amazing, really good. And then I had like the 10-year-old cow, also the New York, and it was just so good. I kept sort of eating that, ate like half of that. I'm like, okay, I'll try the other one now. And I couldn't even taste it. I couldn't taste any of the beef flavor. It was completely overpowered. It just tasted like more rich. Yeah. It loses it. Yeah. It's, as some person that I was speaking to said, we've sacrificed texture for flavor, or sacrifice flavor for texture, it's saying that, it's a bit more tough if it's older. I didn't actually find that. I found that it was perfectly fine. Like if you overcook it and you cook it sort of medium, well done. Yeah. It's like a hockey puck, but otherwise it's fine. And like the gristle, and like the tendons and things like that. Oh, those are just like whalebone. I don't know what those things turned into, but like those are tough. But it's even easier just to take that gristle out now because it's solid now. You get rid of that and you just have this soft fat and the soft meat as well. So I think it was
that's
great.
The best thing in the world for your dog. That gristle too, because they will chew it up and they need that. And you're what they feed dogs today. No wonder.
Mm-hmm.
The vet will tell you the average lifespan of a retriever is 9 to 10 years.
Yeah.
No, try 17, 18 years.
Yeah. It used to be. Yeah. Like
my border collie, 19 years old, still going, my little girl, she's outside now, Tess, she's 8. And at nighttime is when she wants to cuddle. But so she's outside and it's cold out there, but she's tough. And they eat meat. They actually have the horse meat. And we waste nothing.
Yeah.
And if I shoot a deer or a moose, nothing is wasted.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the middle meat, I only like liver, calf liver. But we do eat we had a calf that got out and got hit by a truck and smashed his leg, and I got him back in and into the fence. Gosh, only knows how. I don't know whether somebody had gone through the gate or whatever. But anyway, that's what happened to him. And so we butchered. He only weighed about 600 pounds, and he had fat on him because he was still nursing. I think he was about 5 months old or something, a good solid calf. And we butchered him out, and the meat had absolutely no flavor in it, and there was no marbling because veal have that marbling. It doesn't have the flavor or anything like that. We're not wasting it by any stretch of the imagination. And we did eat the liver and the tongue and the heart. Yeah. But when that's gone, I mean, that's not necessary. It isn't. It's a nice additive with eggs. Like if we have what we call slutty eggs, they're just like a soft scrambled eggs. We'll put, for Mac and me, a dozen eggs goes in. We do that. We have bacon, and then we'll have liver, and that's a super breakfast. And it's just another variety to have. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't mind that we have to eat old beef. I literally can't afford to buy these fancy ribeye steaks that Dr. Baker talks about, or I mean, we don't have an off-farm income. So this is it,
Yeah.
Canada Pension Plan, if you don't pay into it, you don't have it. And as a farmer, you can't afford it, so you don't have it in the end. So there's basically no pension, So,
Right.
And that's not why I keep working, though. That's not. I keep working. This isn't work.
Yeah.
This is life. This is living. But I'd like to see that you're going to convince kids to be there and do the job. They need to get paid for it. Yeah. And I don't know how we're going to do that. But the more people eat beef and demand and get off of the junk food and stop spending and wasting their money on the crap in the grocery store and just demand the meat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very important part of it, is just getting more people aware of this and aware of these problems, and then just making noise. You make political noise. There's a lot of barriers in the way, and things are becoming more difficult. They're getting these, the fake plant burgers. They're getting the bug burgers. They're investing billions of dollars into this sort of nonsense, and that's because they want a return on investment. So they're making a lot of noise. They're putting in a lot of lobby money and things like that. Everyone says like, oh, big cattle and big beef. All they're doing this. There is no big beef. There is no big cattle. It's ranchers like yourself that are doing this, and then these other giant multinational food corporations that are they make more money out of the fake meat and the plant-based crap than they do out of anything else. And so it's just a matter of getting people aware of this and picking up that demand. And if that demand goes up and these people say like, okay, hey, look, the money's on this side of things, we're losing money on this. Well, they're going to either wise up or they're going to lose their shirt. So, and hopefully both. But there's crazy things going on politically as well. Price of land is going crazy. I don't know if you have to pay property taxes on that. That would be insane because, as the price goes up, you have to pay more taxes. And so you basically you're renting your land from the government, which was never a thing. And
$5,000 a year just.
Yeah. Well, that's which is ridiculous. And like in California, they had to cap it. I think it's Prop 22 or something like that, where they basically like you pay property taxes at the value of the house that you bought. But as because it was kicking people out of their homes, or people being there. Like my grandmother was in Montecito, California, just in Santa Barbara, and a beautiful property. It was like 10 acres there. Steve Martin was one of her neighbors. Oprah Winfrey was down the street from her. This became a very, very, very valuable area. And so if she had to pay taxes on what it was worth when she was in her 90s, she would have had to move out when she was in her 70s. She'd lived there for 50 years. And, and so it was, I think, after that, it was valued at much, much more than that. And so it was, you just would not be able to do that in Seattle. My parents in King County, they're living in a house. As the value goes up and up and up, their taxes go up and up and up, which is ridiculous as well. And so there's those barriers with the land, but also just little stupid laws that they brought in, like in Australia. I don't think they've done this, but they were talking about like in Queensland, which is the major cattle producing area in Australia. They are talking about putting in like a methane tax for these cows. Well, they produce this much methane that damages the environment. Now you have to pay, it was $3,500 per head of cattle. That is as much or more that these people make for that entire life cycle of that cow. And so that obviously isn't going to work. That is just immediately going to put everyone out of business, because you're not just going to say, okay, well, I'll double my price now to these other people, because like, no, we're not going to do that. And of course, that's another thing that people don't recognize as well, that it's like you say, it's the bugs that are eating that, so that feed and the grass and the, everything that the cows are eating, they aren't eating that. They aren't getting nutrition from that. The bugs in their gut are, the bacteria are, and as a byproduct, they produce fat and die off and our protein. So the cow's absorbing that fat and protein. It's the bugs that are eating the fiber. And just as a part of breaking down fiber from those bacteria, they produce methane. And the thing is that people don't realize is that if that plant material is getting broken down by that bacteria in the rumen of a cow or on the ground, because it's just sitting there dying, it's still going to produce that same amount of methane, because it's the bacteria breaking down the fiber that produces the methane. So that's going to be produced regardless. And that's what people don't understand. And they're trying to put people out of business.
And this that you've got a handle on all of this, Anthony. And I just I'm amazed by it. And it's just like my daughter's just saying, "Oh, Mom, you sound really happy." And I said, "Well, I am." So I don't know if they'll get. I don't know when you're going to broadcast this, or whether this or you're going to have to cut out a whole lot of.
I'm not going to cut anything. We'll just.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. But if you do this, because serious, I'm kidding about this, and I'm not just saying this to you. You guys are going down in history, because you are like poor old doctor. But well, that's cool. That's okay. I'm already doing more than that. Like I read that book. It came out years ago. Gosh, I was still a kid. I don't even think about how old I am. Sometimes I just forget, but he didn't go far enough, and then he killed himself basically by falling. I don't know how he I think he hit his head and
was it Dr. Atkins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he like just like slipped on some ice or something like that and cracked his head.
Yeah. And he was actually brain dead before he dead. I don't know whether it was
but people say he had a heart attack. There's like, oh, Atkins, he died of a heart attack. Like, no, he didn't. That's complete garbage. I don't know where these people get this stuff, but they just make up a lie and then they repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And then all of a sudden, people take it up. I even saw that on Dr. Huberman. He was interviewing Professor Palmer from Harvard, and he wrote that book, Brain Energy, which is all about curing psychiatric issues by changing people's diet and fixing their metabolic health, which is amazing. And they were talking about, Atkins, because Dr. Palmer had done Atkins decades ago and it had really helped him. And so he said, oh, well, Atkins, that's interesting, but, he did die of a heart attack. And that's what people are saying. And it's like, so even Professor Huberman, who's a very intelligent, very well-read and well-versed individual.
Nobody corrected him.
Sorry?
Nobody corrected him.
Well, I tried to make a comment on it, but that's the thing, that it's so popularized. These things get repeated and repeated and repeated until people just go, oh yeah, that's what happened, and they never look it up. And so, and I see that in medical textbooks. I swear to God, I see so many things, and if you trace back the origins of it, it's like based on nothing. It's complete garbage, and there's a lot of that. And so I look out for that sort of thing, but. I didn't know that until someone said it. I was looking at these discussions. Oh, he died of a heart attack. I'm like, I don't know about that. And someone said, was like, no, he didn't. Here's a link, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, okay, there you go. But it's what the Nazis did. They said, tell the lie, make it big, and keep repeating it until everyone believes it. And that's just how propaganda works. You just keep repeating a lie over and over and over again, and people will start to believe it for whatever reason. Maybe because they just believe it, or maybe because they, have a vested interest in believing it. It confirms their bias.
Yeah, it confirms and so they their want bias. And I think part of it is too, where are the critical thinkers? Like. I have had much to do with or associated with that took my interest to well, my husband is one of them. He's a real critical thinker. But I took it for granted that everybody would think about something. If they were going to believe something, that they would actually give it some thought and do some research. The point is that they can't. Young people have brain fog. Their brains aren't. They're born with all this potential, and then from their mother's breast to this horrible diet, they're brain dead. I mean, they could have huge possibilities and potential, but on a day-by-day basis, if you don't feed that brain, it's still tissue. It still needs to be fed.
Yeah.
And if you're feeding it what it needs, it's not going to function. So people don't question. They don't do their own research. God, I mean, I could talk to you all this time on just BSE, on bovine spongiform encephalopathy that killed our industry in 2002, May 20th, 2002, when they found a cow with BSE in worldwide, the concern was all over the world that bovine spongiform encephalopathy would bring on Creutzfeldt-Jakob's disease because they're very similar. This is not zoonotic. I studied I have a foot high of information on the we're done, but it served the purpose of the corporate world to let, especially with the controversy between Canada and the United States, everybody's trying to keep their beef industry to themselves and promote it. And so this was allowed to run with it. And it a TSE. It's not a transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. Proof they're done in the United States and proof they're done in England by Dr. Mark.
One moment. I'm just getting a call. So, okay. Yeah, very sorry. But something has just come up, but thank you so much, Maggie, for taking the time to speak with me. I think it's, well, I found it very, very interesting. And I think it's very important for people to understand what the life of a rancher is like and what the problems, some of the problems that you're facing are, and the realities of the situation, that it's not just about getting people eating the right thing, but there are some real barriers in the way of people being able to eat the right way, even if they want to. So I really appreciate you giving your perspective and telling us your story, and also just being an example of someone who's been living as a carnivore for 60, 70 years and raised 10 kids in the same way, and showing that actually this is not only viable, but, optimal.
Absolutely. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking this on and listening to it, because without the background, it doesn't really make sense. And people look at life a little bit differently and look at their own potential.
Yeah.
And the only way they're going to develop that potential is by feeding their bodies, their corporate bodies, because you can't have the heart and the spirit and the energy and the mind and the will to do anything without a healthy body. Yeah. Boy, I believe that there isn't a disease. Years ago, 95% of our diseases were proven to be degenerative diseases.
Yeah.
And who said we're supposed to die at 100? Like, I can't. My bank manager said, Maggie, you got to live to be 125 to pay all your bills. And I said, yeah, well, that's
the plan.
Okay, let's go for it. And so we do. And I'm not being facetious about this. I mean, I don't, what Mac and I have and what we do, I'll go to a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm not bragging about it, not putting myself on any kind of a level. I'm just saying these are the facts. And this is what you feed your body properly, you can do. And anybody can do this.
Yeah.
Anybody.
That's great.
But we have to make sure that there's the beef there to buy.
Yeah. That's it. I 100% agree. Well, thank you so much. And hopefully we can do this again. And maybe sometime I can visit your ranch and you can show people exactly what it's like to do that. And,
I built cabins for my kids because they outgrew the house. So if ever you did, you got a young girl, I don't know. We've had people honeymoon here.
Nice. And
it is in the summertime. This place is absolutely beautiful. Like, it's awesome. Incredible. And so is the place in Colombia, by the way.
I bet. So, yeah.
Open. Oh, that's amazing. And the people there, amazing. Anthony, I'm not going to keep. So I know how busy you are. Bless your heart. I'm overwhelmed. Your ability, your time, your generosity, spirit. That moves me, as like, if I'm not your mom, but by golly, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Well, I really appreciate that. Well, thank you.
You could say, well, this old lady is really proud of me. Well, okay. Well, that's where I am, but I'm approaching middle age as far as I'm concerned. And I mean that quite.
Yeah. Well, I think in a very real way, you are. I mean, we're designed to live, 120 years. So, you are in middle age. So,
minimum. Yeah. So.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, thank you so much.
Good night.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good night. Thank you very much for your time. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Anthony.
Very much for taking the time out to listen to what I had to say. If you like it, then please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and podcast. And if you're on YouTube, then please hit that little bell and subscribe, and that'll let you know anytime I have a new video out, which should be every week, if not more. And if you could share this with your friends, that would help me get the word out and let me know that you like what I'm doing. Thanks again, guys.